It's the things we don't see that scare us the most. That line from it, by Stephen King, sticks with you, doesn't it? Because deep down, you already know. The real monsters aren't out there. They're in here with us, in the shadows, in the silence, and sometimes in our homes. It started like any other story. A quiet town, an old house, and a family looking for a fresh start. Nothing seemed off at first, just creaky floors, flickering lights, the usual quirks of a home with history. But there's a difference between old and wrong, and this house, it was wrong. The neighbors didn't say much, just the occasional sideways glance when the moving truck pulled in. Like they'd seen this all before, like they knew. That first night, something changed. The air grew colder, heavier. The basement door wouldn't stay closed. Lights would dim whenever someone walked by it. Noises, barely audible scraping, whispering, almost like breathing, would rise from below. And always that feeling, like something was watching, waiting. You see, horror doesn't always announce itself with a scream. Sometimes it creeps in slowly, quietly. It sits with you, watches you, learns your name. And this story, it's not about ghosts. It's not about haunted objects. It's about something far worse, something alive. So if you're brave or foolish enough to keep listening, remember this: once you open the basement door, you can't unsee what's waiting in the dark. Fear is a house with locked doors, and something knocking from the inside. That echo from it is more than just words. Because fear doesn't start with a scream, starts with a whisper, a creak, a chill. The Davises weren't running from anything. Not really. Just tired of the city noise, the traffic, the constant motion. The old Victorian on Sycamore Lane was perfect, big, cheap, quiet. Maybe a little too quiet. Fixer-upper, the real estate agent called it, with a smile too wide to trust. 4 bedrooms, a wraparound porch, a half-finished basement that hadn't been touched in years. A bargain, really. The father, Mark, loved the space. The mother, Carla, adored the charm. And little Noah, just 9, was happy with any place that had a backyard. But from the first box unloaded, something felt off. The house groaned in ways houses shouldn't. Windows fogged from the inside. Lights flickered no matter how many times the wiring was checked. The basement door, an old, swollen piece of oak, wouldn't stay shut. They blamed humidity, tea. Then came the smell. Faint at first, like wet earth. Then stronger, rotten, cold. As if the air itself had gone sour, but only near the basement. Noah began to wake up at night, screaming. He said the stairs creaked by themselves. said something was whispering his name through the vents. Mark checked. Nothing. Always nothing. Carla felt it too. The pressure. The sense that someone or something was in the room just after the lights went out. But they told themselves it was stress. The move, the adjustments, just nerves. Until the basement door slammed on its own. Until they heard something knocked back. Because fear, it doesn't show up all at once. It builds, quietly, patiently, like something crawling up the stairs, one step at a time. In Derry, the kids always saw it first. Stephen King wasn't wrong. Children see what adults won't, because their minds haven't learned how to lie to them yet. When something unnatural moves in the shadows, they notice. Noah was the first. He told his parents he heard breathing in the basement. Not just wind or pipes breathing, slow, rhythmic, like something asleep, like something waiting. Mark laughed it off, probably the furnace kicking on. Carla wasn't so sure, but she kept quiet. Then one night, Noah woke up screaming. Not a regular bad dream scream. A scream that ripped through the house like a siren. They rushed in, found him curled in the corner of his room, eyes wide, barely able to speak. After a full minute, he whispered. There were eyes under the stairs. Carla froze. Yellow, big, blinking. And then they closed, like it was pretending. Mark went down with a flashlight, looked everywhere, under the stairs, behind the water heater. There's nothing here, buddy, he said. But Noah wouldn't sleep that night, or the night after. Carla started noticing other things. Toys missing, then reappearing, muddy, cold, damp. She'd find Noah talking in low whispers when no one was around. When asked, he'd say, "I'm telling it to stop." One afternoon, while folding laundry, Carla heard a click, then a creak. She turned. The basement door was open again. She was sure she'd locked it. She closed it, locked it, then put a chair in front of it for good measure. That night, they heard footsteps, slow, deliberate, coming from below. Mark grabbed a bat, opened the door, shined a flashlight down the steps. Nothing. But the air coming from below was ice cold. Noah didn't sleep anymore. He sat at the top of the stairs, facing the basement, night after night. "I have to watch it," he said. "If I stop, it comes closer. Every place has a memory. Some are better left buried." In it, Derry's dark past wasn't just history, it was a warning. But people forget, or pretend, until the past claws its way back. Carla couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong with the house. Not just old house creaks or bad wiring, something before them. Something before them. So, while Mark insisted everything was in their heads, Carla started digging. She went to the town's library, asked about the property. The librarian paused just a little too long. That house, 47 Sycamore. You know, it used to be sealed, right? Carla blinked. The basement, the woman nodded, bricked off after. The Miller girl disappeared. That was back in '85. Disappeared. No one ever found her. Parents said she was sleepwalking. Neighbors said they heard screams. But the basement was locked when police got there. No signs of forced entry. Carla's stomach twisted. The librarian went on before them. Another family lost a boy. Fell down the stairs, they said. Broke his neck. But folks swear they saw bruises, like hands around his throat. The house had changed owners 7 times in 30 years. Always cheap. Always rushed sales. Always an excuse. Mold, plumbing, money troubles. But always something. That night, Carla searched their own basement. Deep behind some old shelves, she found it. Faint outlines on the wall. Cement patches. Like someone had tried to cover up where bricks had once been. And the smells stronger than ever. Damp, rotten, like something buried. When she brought it up to Mark, he snapped. There's no ghost, Carla. There's no curse. Just a messed up kid and your overactive imagination. But Noah said it best. It's hungry again. And when Carla asked what it was, he looked at her with eyes too old for a 9-year-old. It lives in the house, he said. It knows we know now. Going down isn't the scary part. It's what's waiting at the bottom. In it, the terror lies beneath the sewers. The silence, the places no one dares to go. Just like the basement. Always the basement. Mark didn't believe in hauntings, but he did believe in problems. And something was clearly wrong with the basement. Mold, maybe. Rats. Cracked pipes. Something fixable. So one Saturday afternoon, while Carla and Noah were out, he decided to handle it. He armed himself with a flashlight, gloves, and a dust mask. The air hit him like a walwet, cold, metallic. The smell had grown unbearable. He stepped down slowly, boots thudding on old wooden steps. Each creak sounded too loud, too alive. At the far end, something had shifted. A shelf had fallen. Behind it, a hollow. Mark moved it aside, and there it was. A square outline on the wall, slightly recessed. The cement was cracked around the edges, like something had pushed out from the inside. He tapped it. Hollow. His flashlight flickered. Then the floor gave way. He didn't scream, just grunted as he fell. Not far. 6 feet, maybe, but enough to hurt. The ground below wasn't dirt. It was stone, slick, cold. A tunnel stretched before him, narrow, carved, and filled with a sound he couldn't explain. A wet, rhythmic pulse. Mark tried to climb back up. Something pulled, not fast, not hard, just enough. Fingernails scraped his ankle. He kicked. The flashlight rolled from his hand, spinning beams across the tunnel walls. And for just a second, he saw it. Not clearly, just enough. Skin that wasn't skin. Eyes that blinked sideways. A smile that was far too wide. Then darkness. When Carla and Noah came home, Mark was gone. The basement light was on. The floor undisturbed, except for the flashlight lying on the top step, still warm, and the smell stronger than ever. Sometimes the monster isn't trying to hide. In it, the creature didn't wait to be discovered. It called to the children, whispered, drew them in. That's how fear feeds. It invites you. Mark was gone. No note, no sound. No signs of struggle, just silence. Carla called the police, filed a report. Officers came, searched, shrugged. Maybe he ran, they said. People snap under pressure, but she knew. Mark never left Noah. Noah didn't say a word, just stared at the basement door. 3 nights later, Carla woke to whispers. Her name soft, stretched, repeated like a chant. She followed the sound, down the stairs, to the door. It was open. Noah was gone. She ran down without thinking. No flashlight, no shoes, just fear. The basement floor was cracked open like it had been waiting. She climbed down into the dark, and there he was, Noah, standing in the middle of the tunnel, still, silent, his eyes locked on something just out of view. She followed his gaze and saw it. The walls weren't stone. They moved. They pulsed like veins, like something alive. The shape in the center wasn't quite a creature, not quite a shadow. Its form shifted, twisted, impossible to focus on. But it spoke, not with words, not exactly, with thoughts, memories, feelings, all sharp, all deadly. I knew her, her secrets, her shame, her guilt. I watched you before you were born, it whispered in her head. I watched your mother, I watched her mother. I feed on what you forget. Carla screamed, covered Noah, tried to run. But the floor shifted, helped them up, like it wanted them to go. Back to others. Some monsters don't want to kill you. They want you to spread them. Some stories don't have endings, just empty rooms. In it, evil didn't die. It waited. Horror doesn't end when the monster is gone. It ends when you realize it never leaves. They made it out. Carla dragged Noah back through the crawl space, up the rotting stairs, through the basement door. She slammed it, locked it, nailed it shut. Noah didn't speak for days. She packed bags, booked a motel, called family. They needed to leave, fast, but the car wouldn't start. The phone wouldn't connect. And at night, Noah whispered in his sleep, in a voice that wasn't his, "It's not done yet." That morning, Carla tried again, got the car working, drove away with Noah in the back seat, still pale, still silent. She never looked in the rearview mirror. The house stood quiet behind them, empty for now. 2 weeks later, a for sale sign went up. A young couple toured it, smiled at the space. The door creaked open while no one was watching. And deep below, where the tunnel met the dark, something moved. It wasn't angry or rushed. It was waiting. Because that's what it does. It doesn't chase. It calls. It invites. And every few years, someone accepts. Someone thinks it's just a house, just a bargain, just bad luck. But the truth, the basement was never part of the house. The house was built around the basement. And what lives beneath? It's not gone. It never was. Because once you've seen it, truly seen it, it sees you too. Fear never dies, too. It just changes shape. In it, evil doesn't disappear. It morphs. It finds new faces, new victims. That's the real horror. It never truly ends. Some stories fade, some stay with you, and some follow you. But the house didn't stop breathing just because they left. Evil like that doesn't die, it waits for the next curious buyer, the next child who hears whispers, the next family who thinks legends are just stories. But here's the thing, there's a house like that in every town. Maybe not on Sycamore Lane. Maybe not with a cracked basement or a missing family. But with something no one wants to talk about. Something they pretend isn't real until it is. And when you drive by and the lights are off and the grass grows just a little too fast and no one ever stays long, ask yourself, why? What's beneath that house? What's behind that door? What's waiting in your basement? If you're still watching, you've already heard it, felt it, that cold press behind your neck, that silence that isn't quite silent, that sense that someone nor something is right behind you. That's the thing about fear. It doesn't live in haunted houses. It lives in your mind. And now that you've opened that door, it might never leave. If you made it this far, bravo. You're braver than most. Like this story. Subscribe for more tales that don't just scare you. They stay with you. Drop a comment if you've ever felt something watching you in the dark. And remember, don't Open the door. Any door. Not tonight.